All right, Alan. Can you tell me about your resource here for this DCG portfolio?
Okay, so I had a problem with downloading AutoCAD, so that kind of led me on to finding this other program called Rhino, short for Rhinoceros, and I looked then at how I'd create an icosahedron on Rhino. Then so this resource goes through. It's 12 minutes, as you can see here, and it goes through the steps of how to create an icosahedron on Rhinoceros using all the different the different controls and programs in it.
Cool.
So like I'll just step it. You'll see there. Look, now it's a 4-screen program, but you can reduce it to 1 screen or whatever. Like SolidWorks, you can actually set the amount of screens that you use. But in this one, now I'm using the 5 perpendicular circles there to intersect, as they're taking the rebatment part of the equilateral triangle, so that they'll meet at a lower point below here in the lower section to create the bottom section of the icosahedron. So that resource kind of runs through it. Basically, why I created this is because I wanted to make a 1 frequency geodesic dome, which an icosahedron is, and to go on then to a 4 frequency dome then from there, using other methods then afterwards. I wanted to show them the principle how to make it first up to 1 frequency, and then they could expand it later, because it just needed to fill the gap that's in Anderson's book, that I kind of found that it showed you how to do certain things, but it still left it, the teacher still had to fill those gaps, you know what I mean?
Okay.
So,
Do you want us to tell us about your assessment then?
oh yeah, so I'll just move out of this there now, and we'll just go into the assessment. So using then what they've learned from the resource, I wanted them to work out what from the resource, even though I never mentioned principles in the resource, I wanted them to be able to work out from the resource. No, I go through it with them, but like in the resource, what's in the resource in terms of principles. Now, they would have watched the video, we would have gone through it in class, we would have drawn it even, and we could have even done it on the program, which, that's the thing we just mentioned as well, that this program's only €1,000 for 30 kids in the school, which is a good, it's a good value.
Pretty decent.
And it's something that could get kids working on, you could use maybe junior cert level, do you know what I mean? If you 30 computers in there and you bring a program that would teach kids without having to be SolidWorks, and it's only 600 megabytes, it's not a bad thing.
Yeah, perfect.
But behind the assessment here, I want to hit the learning intention for DCG, for the syllabus.
Okay.
So the learning intention is for students to be able to draw a 4 frequency geodesic dome. So what I want them to look at, this is a 1 frequency, I want them to look at how to get from a 1 frequency to a 4 frequency. But I want them to know the processes and the methods to do it and what principles are involved. I'm not too worried about them actually drawing it. I want them to know, because it's quite a complicated process, I want them to know the processes, and I want them to know the principles involved. Exactly. Because it's not about them being able to draw it, because if they know to draw it, that's fine.
So that's the rationale there, as long as they can understand that they're extracting the principles themselves, essentially.
Yeah, so that when they go into the exam, then they know what they need to do. Then it's only, once they know what to do, they'll be able to draw it.
Yeah,
being able to draw it is only one part. It's knowing what principles are involved and to break it down into the steps. This is quite complicated. There's a lot involved. There's rebatment, there's auxiliary views, there's what's the word for it? Spherical geometry. There's lots of different things, so it's quite complicated. But like once you get the principle of understanding the 1 frequency dome, you'll move on to the 3 frequency then. But yeah, it's
perfect then.
Yeah. Is there anything else?
No, I think you kind of described your rationale behind it. Like it's you've summed it up pretty well. Like.
Yeah, I just wanted it for it to hit the learning intentions for the DCG syllabus.
Yeah, exactly.
But I want, for it to be summative, but I wanted it to be formative as well.
Yeah, exactly.
In terms of they'd have that then as a study aid.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It wouldn't be just that they'd learn from it. They'd have it then to refer back to later on.
Exactly. Informing their future practice.
Yeah, and the resource then was to build up the knowledge to the point where they could go from 1 frequency, we would have learned that, and then move on to 4 frequency. And it was just joining the dots, as they say.
Spot on.
Okay, thank you.
No worries.